Hi, this is Lorena Vasquez. Okay, so for this English class, I didn't have it last semester, so I had to bring up a research paper I had written in the past. So the one I chose was one I wrote my first year. It was my first semester also for my US history class, and the assignment was it was about a week that we were given, and we had to go find an article that we thought to have shaped history in some way, even if it was very slightly and it didn't exactly have like a very profound impact, I guess. So what I chose, it was an article about this man named William Draper, and he had stated about he had stated that women's place in the medical field was further than what was the thought of the time, which was that they didn't really belong in the medical field unless it was nurses and such. So when I started that off, it was kind of messy. I wrote it about an hour before it was supposed to be turned in, I guess, like as a rough draft. And she thought it was good, but I was just trying to get it over with. And I kind of just took quotes. I didn't think too much into the essay at first. And I kind of, I guess, manipulated some of the words into how I would think it would make my argument stronger about thinking that women do belong in the medical field and at a higher position in it. And it was a very short essay as well. So when I went to the conference, it had to be like, it was okay, but we had to change it completely. So here's the first edited thing. We went, I went in a more historical route using like a timeline of women's advances in the medical field because I thought that would be a different, interesting take on it. And it was a lot of looking through. There was at one point where I felt like I wanted to change it again, like to a totally different topic, because um, at one point it was there were so many sources, but I also felt like there was none at the same time, so it was really conflicting because I just felt really overwhelmed, I guess, with the sources. But I was able to go through with it. And so I started off just like an introduction. It was just about what my argument would be on. And I just went through the timeline and I just put them in very basically until it was edited and they said that I should add a bit more into a more personal statement, which for the final one I did include because it really added more to why I wanted to write it. And so even just the change from February to March when it was due, you could still see like a pretty good change. But comparing my original essay to like the final one, it underwent like a bunch of changes, and I thought that was really cool to see because even with just the citations, like you can see that some of them were more. Excuse me. Like my first ones, if I had to go through these citations from the original essay and put them through the sheets you had to do to see if they were good secondary sources, which my essay was pretty heavy on, they probably wouldn't have made it through very well. Because, yes, they were like non biased, but at the same time, they didn't really do anything to help my essay be any stronger. So, if I had to put them through, like with all the ones, I had done more than this, and then not all of them made it to the end of mine because they just weren't very necessary as far as my essay goes, my argument, and the historical part of it. So I thought that was really cool too. And at first, I was kind of like, I didn't really want to do all these things for individual citation sources, but it was kind of necessary. And then when we were editing others' essays, I thought it was really cool that I got to be. At first, I was part of just like the editing, the spelling, and all that because I've always been kind of that's my stronger suit when it comes to writing. I like fixing grammar and everything. And then after that, I had to be part of the team that went through like everyone's essays, and we were doing. It was me and two others, and we split it so that they would be doing the questions and I would fix like the flow of their essays. And so I was able to do about four of those. And I thought that was interesting because the ones that I ended up doing, I was also part of like doing their publications. So two of the ones that I had edited for both, I ended up doing that. And just to see how much it had changed from like the very first time we did those to how they ended up in the newspaper and on the website. I thought that was really cool to see. I had them open, but I guess they closed. Anyway. Okay, for some reason, one of them isn't, it says it's failing. So I'll just open up Samantha's because hers is one that I checked for the flow and everything initially, and then I was actually able to edit hers in the publisher so we could make it into the newspaper. And I thought it was really cool to see how much that changed because initially there was still work that she was doing before it was ready for publication. And based on our comments and everything, the way she was able to edit it into something even better, I thought that was really nice to see. And like for hers, um, for we had to like put in a summary, a very short summary. So I just put it in a way that kind of made it interesting, like to draw attention from the start, so that someone could go through and fully read it. Because I think hers has a really important notion, like for note taking, because I struggle with that. I get distracted, but I thought that was cool, just reading it. And then when I was editing it, I decided to extract like a quote that she had written because that's the main point of like her essay, and she was able to summarize that into this. I don't know why I cut off here, but by being extra, you go the extra mile making your notes. Like the way she wrote that, I don't know. I thought that was cool to see. And then this was the first time I had ever like edited an essay enough to publish it. It's usually like I'll fix like the grammar aspects of it, like for other people or for myself, just proofreading, because that's what I'm best at. I don't know, this was a very interesting experience in itself. And I was really excited seeing how they all came together at the very end of the newspaper. Because even, I don't know, I think what I took out most from this class was, again, like finding the purpose of the writing, being able to make it find an audience that would be able to relate to it in a way or find it interesting so that they won't just put it down right away. And aside from that, I think my writing did improve because even though some of it was still kind of messy, I was able to make it in a way that it flowed better, especially compared to initially. It was just kind of like a train wreck now that I look back at it. But I would definitely do something like this again. It was a good learning experience as far as finding how I like writing, like my style of writing, I guess. So thank you.